Up next, it's been 3 years since Iowa's smoking ban went into effect, but do you know where you can smoke legally? Take our quiz.
It's hard to miss seeing pink throughout the school year as national efforts to fight breast cancer come to campus. What's the history behind the movement? We'll explain.
And get ready to hit the boards. It's time for Eagle basketball. We'll look at this year's teams. I'm Nick Peiffer.
And I'm Tierra Plowden. Those stories plus a sneak peek at Children of Eden, Kirkwood's fall theater production.
KSP News starts now.
From the campus of Kirkwood Community College, this is KSP News.
I guess they can smoke outside, not inside.
Outside. Can they smoke outside?
Outside, probably.
Do you know where you can smoke legally on the Kirkwood campus? We put Kirkwood students to the test. It's been 3 years since Iowa banned smoking in public places, and we thought it was a good time to see how much has really changed.
As you may have observed, stopping a smoker from taking a puff isn't easy. KSP's Jamaal Smith has our report.
When the state of Iowa passed its tobacco-free law, all use of all tobacco products became illegal on Kirkwood's campus. Designated areas turned into no smoking. These gatherings in front of Lynn Hall to none at all. Kirkwood Director of Emergency Services and Energy, Melissa Jensen, says that the law requires the college to enforce the ban.
The law also specifies that Kirkwood must enforce that law. If we don't, I don't know why we would do this, but if we would choose to ignore it, then we would be fined. So if someone files a complaint that Kirkwood's ignoring the law, then we potentially could be fined. So we need to enforce it.
And even though Kirkwood has to enforce it, Jensen says we all have to be practical.
If a person is leaving class, they've just got off work, they get in their car and they light a cigarette as they're driving off campus, we're not going to bother that individual because they're leaving. If somebody's sitting in their car that's parked right in front of a building entrance with the windows rolled down and they're there for a half an hour and there's smoke rolling out the windows, we're going to go over and say, hey, you might not know this, but you can't smoke on campus. I need to ask you to put it out.
Jensen also says that it's not just the job of campus security to enforce this ban, this law. Everyone needs to play their part and keep an eye out. Jamaal Smith, KSP News.
The fine for repeat offenders of the smoking ban is $25 in a letter to the Dean of Students.
So, you know it's illegal to smoke on campus, but do you know where you can legally smoke?
KSP's Robert Lopez and Cody Brown set out to quiz students, and the results may surprise you.
Outside, as long as you're not in the buildings, there's designated spots.
Hopefully outside.
In the parking lot, or like on the outside, not by the door though.
Away from the buildings. I believe it's in a smoking campus.
It's probably like federal policy. Kirkwood's policy.
Bit of all policies, mostly Kirkwood's.
I'd say Kirkwood's.
I think it's kind of both.
I think it's Kirkwood.
I think it's a federal policy.
I think it's state policy.
Wherever they can, I mean, in the bushes, who knows?
I've seen him like once or twice, not too often, but every now and then, yeah, I see him smoking on campus.
At least once a day. I see at least, I don't know, like 2 or 3 people.
All the time.
They do it all the time when people aren't around, basically, so.
All the time.
Daily, way too often, between every class.
What? More than they should. Yeah, more than they should, I guess.
I see some people hiding like behind like trees or like in the back of buildings sometimes.
Every day.
So where can you legally smoke? This campus map gives you some ideas of where it's legal. Technically, you have to actually leave campus boundaries to do so. Other smokers simply cross the street from campus in any direction to take a drag.
There will be a changing of the guard at Kirkwood at the end of this semester. Longtime Dean of Students Bob Burns will be retiring after 35 years at the college. The current Dean of Students at the University of Northern Iowa will take over the same role at Kirkwood. John Boozy says the change will give him the opportunity to grow professionally and work closer to his Marion home. Boozy served UNI 24 years. Student government leaders there gave him high marks for working with students.
Kirkwood's annual Family Day drew a big crowd this year. Organizers in the Student Admissions Office say about 1,500 people attended, and that's likely a record turnout. Family Day is an opportunity for students, their families, and even alumni to visit the campus. This year's event featured campus tours, lunch, and hayrack rides.
The sound of that drill is the sound of progress. Facilities crew put up the plans for remodeling Lynn Hall October 13th. The 3-year plan has 5 phases. It gets underway in January on the east end of Lynn Hall. Some classes will relocate to Cedar Hall temporarily. The first phase should be completed and ready for use in the fall of 2012.
With flu season in swing, Kirkwood students have prevention options close at hand.
KSP's Brandon Koch has the story.
Kirkwood Campus Health is now offering a service to students that was previously unavailable. Campus nurse Kim Pritz talks about the great deal students receive when getting a flu shot and ways for students to stay healthy.
We offer vaccinations. Right now we're offering flu shots, $15 on a walk-in basis for students only. And I'm proud to say this is the first year that we are offering for the students. We've always had them for the employees, but never for the students. So you can come in Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, while a nurse is available to get those. Number one thing, and it's very easy, is to wash your hands. And as you notice, we, at this time of year, start handing out hand sanitizer. Some of the dirtiest, most infected items in the school, keyboards. You know, students don't think about it. They sit down, they're typing, and then they might be eating while they're typing at a keyboard that how many people have used. So after you could wipe down that keyboard beforehand, or you could make sure to wash your hands afterwards.
The flu shots will be available while supplies last. Brandon Koch, KSP News.
Campus Health is located at 132 Iowa Hall on the main Cedar Rapids campus.
Coming up on KSP News, the Bible comes to Valentine Auditorium. We'll tell you about the fall musical at Kirkwood.
And Dig Pink focuses on a major killer of women. We'll explain. You're watching news from Kirkwood Student Productions.
Hey, how's it going?
I just got a traffic cam ticket. I didn't even know the camera was there.
You should consider appealing the traffic cam ticket.
I wouldn't know where to start.
It's worth a shot. It'll get you out of paying the ticket.
To appeal a traffic cam ticket, please visit www.viewviolation.com. You'll need to have your citation and PIN numbers. You can also call the toll-free number on the screen. Know the facts.
Hey, freak, why don't you keep that in the closet? This isn't the drag show.
Do you feel out of place? Misunderstood? You're not alone. Unity is Kirkwood's alliance for gays, straight, transgenders, and bisexuals. Come in and show tolerance and respect for others no matter who they are, and others will do the same. Unity meets every Tuesday at 11 and Thursday at 4 p.m. in Cedar Hall, room 3062. Join us and bring your pride with you.
Keep yourself and others alive. Don't drink and drive.
Welcome back. This year's Kirkwood Fall Musical is loosely based on stories from the Bible.
KSP's Rachel Foley reports Children of Eden has a different take on some familiar characters.
Children of Eden is a 2-act musical play written by Stephen Swartz. This play, Children of Eden, is loosely based on the biblical book of Genesis. Director Rick Anderson says people can expect to see characters they are familiar with presented in a different light.
Cain and Abel are born on stage as babies, and in one song they age about 10 years, and then during that song they age probably another 7 to get to the adult Cain and Abel's. So it moves from generation to generation.
At news time, actors were learning choreography and sets were being built. Anderson says he picked the production because it was a good fit for Kirkwood.
Musically, it fit us really, really well. It fit the jazz choir students, it fit the music students that we had here, and so that was probably one of the major deciding factors. And it's an ensemble show that really requires a lot of the entire, as you can see, the entire company has to be involved.
Rachel Foley, KSP News.
If you want to see the Children of Eden, show dates are November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30 p.m. and November 6th at 2:30 p.m. in the Ballantine Auditorium.
Plenty of activities at Kirkwood this past month, more in across campus. To Get Information Fast, or TGIF, kicked off the school year hosting prospective students and their parents Friday, October 7th. Student ambassadors take students on tours of programs they're interested in, and parents get the chance to talk with Kirkwood officials to learn more about the school. The admissions office hosts TGIF throughout the school year. Faculty art was on display in Iowa Hall this past month. The exhibit is one of 6 held in Iowa Hall over the school year. The gallery is located on the first floor of Iowa Hall, just around the corner from Ballantine Auditorium. Finally, the hotel at Kirkwood Center has earned the American Automobile Association's prestigious 4-Diamond Award for lodging. It is now one of only 2 4-Diamond rated hotels in Iowa. According to AAA, a 4-Diamond rating means the establishment is upscale in all areas. And that's a look at news across campus. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Kirkwood Eagles women's volleyball and women's basketball teams help to raise awareness for the cause. But what's the history behind the pink movement? KSP's Christina Paul found out.
It's hard to find anyone who's not been touched in some way by breast cancer. Kirkwood students, faculty, staff, alumni, and supporters are no exception. Last year at the Dig Pink event at Kirkwood, the world record was set for the most bubbles blown in one place at one time. We spoke with Mary Huffman from Kirkwood Student Life Office about just how Dig Pink got started on the Kirkwood campus.
Kay Yao, who was the head coach at North Carolina, had breast cancer. It was her 3rd bout with it. And so the Women's Basketball Coaches Association decided to start raising money. They had started in 2007. They had 120 schools participate. And in 2008, they had 1,200. So Kirkwood got involved. They wanted to be a part of that. And then in the spring of 2009, volleyball decided to become a little more active in it. And they started with the Dig Pink, which is the trademark for the Side Out Foundation.
Coaches that had maybe mothers or relatives that have had breast cancer and have just stepped up to the plate to get involved. As women in athletics, we all realize it's kind of a part of us to get on board with awareness and recognition as it affects all of our lives. And it was something that we saw as an opportunity for our young ladies to learn of what it's like to be a part of a cause and of something that's bigger than just our athletics.
Christina Paul, KSP News.
Kirkwood's Dig Pink event took place at the October 26th match between Kirkwood and Indian Hills Community College.
Up next, Kirkwood's volleyball team plows through another round of opponents. We'll have an update.
And Eagle basketball gets underway. We'll talk with players and coaches up next in sports. You're watching KSP News on the Kirkwood channel.
Message of the day. Tanning beds are for losers. Their UV rays can be up to 15 times stronger than the sun. Trust me, it's so not as safe as you think. I'm telling you as a friend. Tanning beds can increase your risk for cancer, including melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, which is the 2nd most common cancer for women in their 20s. At the end of the day, it's so not worth it. Oh my gosh, there are so many risks. It can cause ugly wrinkles and age spots and can ruin your skin. And if you get skin cancer, you could be messed up beyond all recognition. Please don't tan. Without a doubt, tanning is so over. End of discussion.
Overexposure to UV rays is the leading cause of skin cancer. Be safe. Don't go there. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Anyone who uses a tanning bed is an idiot. So get a life, or you could lose it.
Women's volleyball gets closer to tournament time, and the men and women hit the boards for basketball.
Jamaal Smith joins us with sports.
Thank you, guys. With a 5-0 conference record, the Kirkwood women's volleyball team continues to pile up the wins and is gearing up for regional tournament. KSP Kyle Jacobs has our report.
Coach Williams talked about her team's strengths on offense and on defense going into the postseason. The Kirkwood women's volleyball team is 25-6 overall on the season and 5-0 in the conference. Kirkwood is also ranked 10th in the nation and is gearing up for the regional tournament in hopes of making their second consecutive trip to nationals. I had the chance to talk with head coach Jill Williams about what she expects from some of her players going into the postseason.
We have 4 players from that team last year back, and I think it's pretty important that they take on that leadership. They know what it's about, they know what it takes to get there, and then they know once we get there just how well we have to perform.
Coach Williams talked about her team's strengths on offense and on defense going into the postseason.
I think our balance, when we're playing our best volleyball, we're coming at you from every angle. We don't just have 1 or 2 players that are our continuous go-to. Defensively, we have some good blocking, and we've got some nice defense in our libero. Ali Mathias and Sarah Kirkwood's been out playing left back for us some now. I just feel like we've been covering the floor really well defensively also.
Kirkwood's offense is one of the best in the conference. They are first in kills per set and second in assists per set. Coach Williams discussed why their offense is so dangerous.
Running a 6-2, we have 2 different setters in Lydia Hahn and Haley Brody. Once they sub out, the other has to pick up where they left off. So I think that's been what makes us strong is the fact that we don't just have a go-to, we have to have that balance to be a good or great team.
Kirkwood has 6 games remaining before postseason play. The regional tournament will be played on November 1st and November 5th. Kyle Jacobs, KSP Sports.
Eagle Day Pep Rally introduces Kirkwood's men and women basketball teams, the dance and cheerleading squads, to the rest of the college on Wednesday, October 12th.
The dance team performed a routine in Johnson Hall. The cheerleading squad ran through a few cheers. The women's basketball team was highlighted with a 3-point shooting contest, while the men's basketball team was highlighted with a dunk competition.
As the weather turns colder and the basketball season draws closer, the Kirkwood men and women's basketball team are in preparation for the championship chase. Nick Peiffer and I teamed up for this preview.
With basketball season right around the corner, the 2011 Kirkwood men's basketball team is in preparations for a new season. With some new faces and a few returning players looking for a fresh start, the team is gearing up to make a return trip to the national tournament, where they finished 5th last season. In all, there are 13 new players on the current 17-man roster. I stopped by practice and asked head coach Doug Wagamaster how he will try to replace some of last year's leadership.
The thing with sophomores and guys like Richie and Alex, you knew exactly what you were getting every day. And I guess that parlays into what we expect from our sophomores. We expect those guys to understand how we want to go about things, whether it's on the practice floor, in the classroom, game night, whatever the case may be, and lead both by example of how they manage themselves in those different scenarios and communicate to our freshmen where the expectations are.
It will be up to this year's sophomores to rally the freshmen as they go on the grind of a 30-plus game season. Sophomore transfer Eddie Denard played for the University of Illinois Chicago last year and provides leadership as well as experience.
We just want to have a winning season, make it to nationals. And of course, I'm only here for 1 year, so I want to just bring this team a national championship and do the best that we can, period, and just work hard every day and get better and try to prepare ourselves for the next level.
In all, the Eagles returned just 4 players from last year's team. Preston Bruns will be one of those players that the team will look to for guidance.
With a college team, you get a lot of new guys coming from different places, so it's important to get that team bonding down right away, and lately it's been going really well.
With some added athleticism this season, the Eagles will look to push the pace and play an up-tempo game, which is something both Denard and Bruns are excited about.
Yeah, I love the up-tempo game. Nobody really wants to slow it down nowadays, but, we got all the tools to be a great up-tempo team.
Yeah, definitely. I love just running up and down the floor. And we're deep, too, this year, so we got a lot of people. So if we get tired, we can sub in real quick and just keep pushing it.
And Coach Wagamaster knows it's early in the process, but is excited about where this team can go.
Everybody thinks they're the lead singer right now. Well, we got to have a drummer, and we got to have a stage manager, and we got all that stuff. So as soon as we can, figure that out and see who's on board after those roles are defined, that's when we really know who we are.
So an exciting season on the horizon for the Kirkwood men's basketball team. They're going to open play up November 4th and 5th at the John Wood Classic, the tournament that will get this team ready for the grind of a 30-plus game season. Speaking of a grind, Jamaal, it was just that for the women's team last year.
After winning 4 national championships in a row, the women's basketball team looks to rebound this year. We talked to Coach Moles on his sophomores and what they needed to do to get motivated.
As it moves closer to the basketball season, the Kirkwood women's basketball team is getting ready. This year's team is led by 3 sophomores.
Only 3 of us returning, we know what's to come, and we know how to get the freshmen pumped up for practice and for games, and make sure we're always there to help them, because it's a huge adjustment for them. So they're struggling right now, but we're there for them all the time.
With the tradition of winning here at Kirkwood, Coach Moles spoke to us about how he wants his team to approach the season.
Every year's a new year at our level, so winning it 4 times was great. Now you just got to start over.
We talked to Tisha Harris about how she will step into a new leadership role this year.
The team chemistry this year is really good, actually. We do have a lot of freshmen, but we all do get along on and off the court, which is a good thing.
6'2" forward Chantel Lehman is looking forward to making a significant contribution to this year's team.
First of all, let's do better than I did last year. I wasn't as consistent, so I want to be more consistent this year for the team. Be a leader on the court.
Coach Moles talked to us about how the early season schedule will help his team get ready for a long year.
Some of the schools load up on their conference schedule with JVs and stuff, and our schedule's load up. I think we have 7 Division I schools in the first 11 games. So they're going to grow up real fast.
And that's a look at sports. Back to you.
Notice a little something different on the hill below Iowa Hall? We did too, so we shot some video.
That story before we close.
In 2008, over 1/4 of Iowa's fatalities were alcohol-related.
Come on, man. Related?
Many students believe it will not happen to them, but they probably know of someone who has been involved in an alcohol-related incident. Please, have a plan. Don't drink and drive. Stop your friends from driving under the influence and prevent losing or hurting those close to you. Better safe than sorry.
Is that thing getting closer? Look how high that thing's going. Look out there. Look at the debris.
Give me the camera.
No, just drive. I've got it.
Zoom in, zoom in.
I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, the size of that thing.
It's everywhere.
Are you getting this?
Yeah, I've got it. What was that?
It's the National Guard.
How'd they get here so fast?
I don't know.
Pull over. Pull over.
Do you have what it takes to head into the heart of the storm? Check out NationalGuard.com.
Our media partner, the Communique, is hard at work in their newsroom.
News editor Kirsten Caclio joins us with more on their stories.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in the Communique, Kirkwood students get involved in the Occupy Cedar Rapids movement. We'll hear from them. We also have a preview of Kirkwood's production of Children of Eden, and a Kirkwood student sets his sights on starting up a roller derby team. Check out these and other stories in the Communique or visit us online at kirkwoodstudentmedia.com. Back to you.
Finally, it's a bird, it's a plane. Actually, it was an eagle that greeted students on their walk to the library or Iowa Hall.
This version of Sammy the Eagle sat all alone on the hill until it faded from view. The art was the creation of the faculty and students in Kirkwood's turf management program. They created it for the annual Family Day. Students are getting hands-on training to create mascots and other advertising on campus. Just another example of hands-on learning at Kirkwood.
That's it for this edition of KSP News.
For all of us at Kirkwood Student Productions, thanks for watching.
The unveiling.
Oh, you look perfect.
Today, people seem to care a lot more about how good they look than how well they see. And that's a big mistake, because an eye doctor can see things you can't, like the first signs of glaucoma, diabetes, and high blood pressure. For men and women over 40, it might be wise to look into your eyes. Visit checkyearly.com, a message from the Vision Council of America and AARP.
The hotel at Kirkwood Center is officially open for business, where students learn the hospitality management industry from a professional staff. The hotel has 71 rooms and 6 suites. It also includes the Class Act restaurant, where culinary arts students and restaurant management students learn their trade. As General Manager Lee Belfield said, our mission is to produce graduates who will lead our industry over time around the globe. The hotel at Kirkwood Center is located on the south side of campus. Be sure to check it out.